What's up there guys, welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel if you are a subscriber. So this is Seafarer, the ship sim. I've been looking forward to checking this one out, and in this video I'm going to give you my first impressions and just show you how you get started with this one and make it a kind of let's play as well. So please do grab yourself a drink, let's hit the water. Alright then guys, so first things first, I picked this one up with my own money. I did get it on a discount when it came out, and it's been out a couple of days when I recorded this video. And so far I've been enjoying it. I've only played about the first hour roughly, maybe not even that. And I did find that initially there was quite a few performance issues, and as you can see, it's not perfect. I'm currently running high settings as far as graphics go, playing in 1440p. And I do have the anti-alias setting set to FSR, which seemed to help quite a bit, to be fair. It is a bit smoother than what it was, and as you can see, the water does look quite nice and textured along with the foreground there as well. So yeah, let's get started. We are aboard the first boat. I've played through the intro sequence, which is basically a bird flying through the air, and it takes you to this boat, which is actually a tugboat, which is quite an interesting way to start, to be honest with you. It's a difficult ship to control in some ways, but yeah, I've disengaged the HUD, which I'll re-engage now by pressing H, and then there's also a kind of help menu that pops up if you hit Alt, so we'll get rid of that. I'm just going to pop down here and we'll talk to the first person. Now, what did I do to start off with? Well, on creating a profile, if you want to delete your profile, you've got to create another one to delete the first one. So I actually asked the developer about this, Astragon, and they confirmed that you've got to do it that way, because I was wondering why I couldn't delete my profile to restart the game, because we're currently in story mode. There is also a quick start mode where you can play a number of missions. And so far, this game is in early access, so it does have its bugs, it does have its issues, and it doesn't have, I guess, all of the content that will be available once it gets fully updated. Just to let you know guys, in the menu I switched off the music just to avoid any copyright strikes, and I've also switched off voices because they're really annoying in my opinion. Now, I am really trying my best to have a positive attitude about this game. There's some good things about it. There's some things that are not so good, and hopefully I'll be able to cover all those things in this video. If not, we may do another video, but like I said, I've switched off the voices. Now, normally this guy would be speaking here, at least the audio, his mouth doesn't move. But basically, this is a long lost friend. I guess we're returning back here. And basically, this guy feels there's too much to do, so we're going to help him out by doing a bit of work for him. He's got a test for us. First things first, basically, we've got a task list that we can bring up, and basically we can see that there in the top right hand corner. So that pops up actually when you are undergoing missions, and that tells you the steps that are required in order to get through the mission. So this bit's all obviously cut and dry, the usual tutorial stuff. He's telling us to go up to the bridge, and this is indicated with a yellow marker. So the yellow markers indicate your next objective. On this boat at the moment, actually, there is a number of things that you could potentially click on, and what's happened to us, we got stuck on something there. You could potentially click on these types of things, but at the moment we can't because we're in tutorial, and a lot of these things maybe are not massively relevant. For example, there's a door here that would normally open, but we can't open that at the moment. So we utilize the F key in order to interact with items. And sometimes you're doing things like inspecting boats as part of the police missions, things like that, and really you would then be clicking on stuff. But for now, let's get ourselves in here, let's follow what he's asking us to do. So we're in now the cockpit area, so we're going to start by taking a seat. So we'll sit down here. So it looks like we're getting underway. He's basically telling us, yeah, it's great to be back behind the boat controls. We do have a few things that we can interact on this dashboard, although not everything. So we've got anchor up here, anchor up and down should I say. We've got dock up here, we've got a horn. All of these are not operational, neither are any of these. We've got a radar, which obviously is going to be useful for seeing things around us, land, boats, that type of thing. We've also got a map, which helps us determine where we are. We can escape out of there. There's also another bunch of controls and things that you can do over there, but we'll come back to that, I guess, if we come to use it. None of this stuff works, apart from these, which are the lights. And yeah, that's about it, really. Normally you could go down there as well, but obviously for this opening mission you can't. So, let's start by doing what needs to be done by raising the anchor. So we'll get this done. This is our tugboat, Eleanor. So, as much as this game is marketed as a sim game, really, I would personally think that it's more of an arcade game. There is another sim game, a ship sim game, that I want to cover on the channel, and when we come to do that we could maybe look at some of the differences. But this is not a business management game as such. There is elements of it, but it's not like you are going to buy your own boats from what I've played so far. Anyway, let's get started. So, we've got the WSAD keys. Now, the controls are a little bit odd, and particularly odd for this boat. Now, you do have WSAD, obviously W and S, increase or decrease the throttle. Once the throttle's on, it's no longer something that you need to hold the W key down for. You kind of set your throttle level, and then you can just take your fingers away from the keys, and away she goes. But it's the steering on the tugboat that's a bit odd. Now, I'm going to press C to switch to third person, and this also applies for when you're walking around as well. But now that we're in third person, zoom out a bit using the mouse wheel, you may be able to see those two flashing green things under the water. Well, that indicates our engines there, and those are pods. They turn, and as you apply power, they turn you. Now, if I press the A key to turn left, I will set the angle by which those motors are pointing. I'm going to straighten them up a little bit more because we need to go around to where that yellow is. But again, if I press A, the pods will then shift to the right, turning me left. Now, it's important to remember that those pods are at the rear of the boat, and therefore don't control the front of the boat directly, apart from just simply the direction that you are pushing the boat in from the rear. It might not make a great deal of sense why I'm saying that right now, but when you get stuck, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Because if you accidentally need to correct an issue where you've, say we were to crash into some of this stuff here, some of this garbage, then you'll soon find yourself maybe struggling to turn around the way that you want to. Or we might even come across that as we go here. But for now, I'm going to get the throttle up again. I'm going to turn the angle of these motors to push us round to the left, and just straighten up a bit now. You can all do this from the cab as well, which is, again, it's quite nice to look around. And again, the frame rate there isn't ideal. The frame rate is a bit better on the outside. I'm not too sure why that is, but yeah. Right, so we'll straighten up a bit with a little bit of correction here. Everything should be gentle, calm, and very nice. Now, I don't think I had these seagulls above me before when I played this part initially. The game has had some updates, at least one update over the last few days for performance, so it's been improved. Like I said, it is in early access, so Astragon are working on it. And to be totally honest with you, I'll give you my honest opinion. I wasn't impressed with it to start off with. I was a bit disappointed, to be honest with you, especially after seeing the hype that it's been receiving from various, obviously, YouTubers. It's just, everybody gets excited for a nice simulation game, and yeah, one of those things. Right, let's get ourselves around here. We are still following what we're told to do here, so we're following the markers. We'll straighten up, and we'll just keep it moving like this. So we're taking through that area as a kind of way of figuring out if we can steer or not, which prove that we can, I guess. We're pressing on. So, there's a few things about seals there. I don't know whether it's just me, but I don't know. I can't really see any seals. I don't know whether. I think it might be those. Yeah, those bunches of items on the pier, the bits of trash there. So I don't know whether it's just me. Now I do need to say I am playing on high graphics, so I'm not playing on epic, because I just found that it was far too choppy as far as frame rate goes, and I will always try to favour frame rate wherever possible. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section anyway. Have you guys checked this one out? If you have, what's your opinion? What are your impressions? The Steam discussions board is rife with people asking questions about this one. Is it good? How do you improve performance? How do you do this, that, and the other? The game does seem to have a number of bugs. So yeah. Right, so we're getting a radio message from a captain here. Like I've said, I've switched off the vocal audio because it's, yeah, the voices were just getting very annoying. And also it's quite difficult to make a video when you have voices going off all the time. So as soon as you get past all this sort of chatter, it won't be a problem. But basically, captain here has asked us to head over here, give him a bit of a push into his docking area, and you will see one of the problems with the game when we get over here. But yeah, I mean, look at that, looks quite good actually from a graphical perspective, and I am interested to see how far the game goes. Like I've said, I've barely really touched upon it. You do have spacebar, which brings up a radial menu, which I'll show you in just a moment. I think we're about to be told to do something regarding that, so we'll just hang fire a sec. There we go. So the tide guard is back on patrol. They're monitoring the traffic. So basically, we just need to get some lights on. I'll just straighten up a bit here. So we're going to do spacebar to bring up the radial menu. And we're going to head to the lights, and you can see this one's already on, inner lights. We're going to switch on the outer lights and the signal lights, so that's all done. I'll hit spacebar again. Yeah, so that was the same basically. If we were going in the cab here, it's now, these switches are now on. Actually it just says there, switch signal lights off. So because they're on, that means we could switch them off there. Right, let's get ourselves lined up a bit here. I'm going to kill the throttle a bit. So yeah, with this type of engine as well, if you want to go backwards, there's no rear there's no backwards motor, there's no rear gear. You've got to spin the pod basically round, all the way around, and then yeah, oh man, I hope it lets us, there we go. I was just hoping it would have let us pick up that waypoint there, because I didn't want to miss it by driving to my next objective, which I knew was going to be this ship here. So let's just bring around a bit. I'll straighten her up. Right, we'll kill the engine and just roll in. So I'm going to hold down K to align here. Wow. So there we go. This is the craziness in the way that I'm talking about. So our engines are now straight. We're going to give this baby a little bump. An unintended bump really. I want to be pulling up to a nice and gentle, to be fair. So that was a bit of a bump, but we're going to give her a full push now. So it's impossible to tell how far you're moving her here, or what's actually going on. In fact, it doesn't look like she's moving at all. And kind of what does happen here is she kind of jumps in just a moment. So even if I zoom out, you can't really see what's going on. you can see on the little mini map in the top bottom right, and it's very difficult to tell if we're actually moving at all there. So yeah, we'll just continue with this little push. Even if you were to swing the camera around like this, it's kind of, you can't see anything. So we'll just continue as we are here, just giving her a little push. And I'm going to take a swig of water in the meantime, which has been done now. Mission complete on that one. So let's continue this. We are still pushing. Is she actually moving? That's the question. Okay, let's realign ourselves a bit if we can. There we go. So why she suddenly just goes flying off like that, I don't know. And also we are now going to crash into her if we're not careful. So I'm going to turn these motors round if I can get there in time. Then put them on full so that we don't crash into her. Oh, we just did. So yeah, you're kind of on full engine, about to crash into her. And we did. Because she moves away while you're on full engine, which is bizarre. Right, so we are now reversing. It wants us to go back over there. And I want to turn around. So how am I going to do that? Well, I'll angle these motors. If I angle them like that, we're going to get pushed round to the right. So let's angle them like that, so that they're pointing towards the right, which will push us round to the left. We'll go on full. And we'll turn round. So yeah, I'm starting to get used to these engines a little bit now. These motors. It's a bit of a tough one at first, to be honest with you. But I have adjusted. It's not like a normal anchor, but you do get a normal anchor with... Sorry, not anchor, sorry, rudder. But you do get a normal rudder with other ships in the game, so it's not like you have to endure this with every ship, thankfully. But yeah, look at that. That looks quite impressive, actually, graphically. The lighting is very nice there, actually. Alright, so let's swing ourselves round here and get ourselves into the harbour. And yeah, you can see there's a bit of a shadow draw distance thing going on there as I turn the shadow draws in, the shadows drawing. So yeah, that is a bit of a bug, to be fair, because yeah, it seems to be that they do want to be there, but they're just drawing in a little too late. It's only when I actually look at them that they then draw in. So yeah, one of those things. I mean, yeah, okay, we'll push this baby round to the right a little bit now. Alright, so we're now heading towards that basically docking point over there. Let's call it a pier. I guess it is. I guess, well, that is the pier, isn't it? This part is kind of the bottom end of it. So we'll make sure that we're aligning ourselves quite nicely here. Yeah, I mean, the tugboats are really slow moving though. I mean, if you look at that, 11.5 knots. Somebody can tell me what that is in miles per hour, I'm sure, in the comment section. Alright, let's turn her in here. Just ease off on the power. So you can play with controller as well. I may jump in with the Xbox controller, but for now I'm using the keyboard. Please don't crash. Okay, I think the game has crashed on me. So here we are with a nice little bug. So I'm going to have to reload. Alright, so it's loaded back in. So we are pretty much where we were. Let's get a bit of power on. Okay. Can't tell it. Oh yeah, she is moving. Thought the anchor might be down then for a moment when we were reloaded back in. But yeah, so that's the first crash that I've had. Genuinely. I'm not going to say it's the only issue that I've had with the game, because like I've said, there is performance issues, but that's the first crash I've had, and it was a little disappointing that that happened during recording. I thought it had crashed again then, but we've managed to get past that one. I don't know how. By moving the camera, that seemed to help. But this is the problem. This is some of the issues, and I'm glad you're seeing them yourself. Right, let's hold down the key, the K key now. As you can see, we've got a bit of a radar on the centre of the screen there. It's aligning us to tell us when we're going to be in the middle of the square. We're pretty much in that now, so I'll hold down K. So we've now got some ropes, and obviously the engines are all sorry, like powered down, although obviously still running. We're going to hold down X to leave the steering wheel, and there we go. So now we can head downstairs. As I said, you can actually if you press C, you can also play from a third-person perspective even when walking. Where do we need to be? We need to talk to this fella again. So he's basically going to give us a bit more information here about what we can do. So we can press T to open the tablet. We use that to find jobs, manage, fleet, and edit profile. Press F again there. We'll open the tablet now with T, and basically there's these are the missions basically on the left. It tells us here on the right, it tells us in every part you have the opportunity to take on jobs for various factions. So just to explain this a bit, these are the two factions here now. So we've got, I believe, Crescent Port Logistics and Tide Guard. So Crescent Port Logistics are, you know, when you're delivering like containers, and this is basically police stuff. So those are the two factions that we have at this particular port. When it says factions, it sounds a bit sort of brutal, doesn't it? You know, as if you're gonna work for one and the other one's your enemy. Not quite like that. So yeah, basically you're looking to meet certain criteria. It says here region, port or profile level. I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Under fleet you will find all information about your current ship. At the port you can carry out repairs, refuel and purchase consumables or equipment. So yeah, we'll come to this when we come to it. So personally, although I have started this game, I haven't got to this point yet, so this is where the let's play part of the game comes in. We'll press continue. I'm clicking on it. You can press F as well. In the user tab you'll find all the information about your profile and progress. If you get stuck you can look up explanations of all the features under hints. So yeah, another thing we could look at, and that's it basically. So we don't get to do anything in the tablet just at the moment. We're going to hit continue, and then that's going to load us into the next part of the tutorial, which gives us the option of either selecting this cargo ferry or a Tide Guard. Now you would basically select either of these in order to go with either the cargo ferry or the inflatable police boat. So you could do one of the two. You could do a tutorial for each one as well. I think the police one is actually quite interesting, and I think we'll give this a go just as part of this video. We will leave this part maybe till next time if we can come back to this screen. If not, then it does tell us here you'll have a chance to get to know all faction before making a decision, but don't worry, your choice won't lock you into a faction permanently. So whichever one we choose now, it's not the end of the world. We'll do the Tide Guard tutorial because I think it could be quite interesting, like I say, just to give a look at it. But basically we're now in the police boat. It says welcome aboard. Yeah, the Tide Guard was founded to enforce law and order and see and to make our waters safer for everybody everywhere. This includes inspecting and escorting conspicuous vessels if necessary, as well as rescuing people in distress. Firefighting is also part of our job, though we hope that this only happens in the rarest cases, of course. To get started, let's inspect some of the ships anchored near the port. Right, so we're going to go and look at some of the ships near the port, and basically we've got this captain, leader of the Tide Guard, who's our point of contact. We're going to hit F. So basically he's going to give us the basics of inspecting, pursuing and restraining. Yeah, I'm going to basically click through this, and yeah, we're going to get cracking by hitting F a number of times. This is saying let's start with the basics. So we're going to get a move on, which basically requires us to just get moving forward, really. So we can walk, obviously, the same as we could on the other boat. We don't have an anchor with this one, so I'm just going to hit stick in as myself in the driver's seat. We still have lights here, which are obviously good. What else do we have? We've got a horn. We do have anchor, and we've got the ability to dock, so we will be using that. We've got radar, map still, and yeah, generally we're finding that there's a similarity here. We've got a radio as well. So let's get a bit of power on. Now, you will notice a few things here. One, this boat is much faster, which is great. It's got a normal rudder as well, so you don't need to worry about those awkward controls that we had in the opening mission there. Now, we are heading to the waypoint. You will see as well, once we get over in this direction, that there is a blue marker. Now, that's the area that we're going to be patrolling. And as you can tell already, guys, this is much faster and much better. So let's just ease back on the power. Yeah, notch you back. You can reverse the engines here as well to slow down better. And they go like, it's like a red sort of orangey colour on the bar over to the right. The majority of your work hours will be spent scanning various civilian ships. So we scan them with the binoculars, basically. I'm going to put a bit of braking engine on here, a bit of braking force. So you can do that by either pressing spacebar and going into binoculars here, or you can press B. So we're going to scan this ship here, just holding down over it. So it says press the B key to look through the binoculars, which is what we've just done. So we found the suspicious ship. If there is a serious suspicion, you have the right to search the vessel. However, you must initiate contact with the target and inform them of your intentions. So we're going to use the radio to do that. Now, there's a picture of the walkie-talkie there. I think that's out of the tugboat. We've got this radio. So we'll click on it, and then we can use the radio down here, and we're going to radio the vessel. Basically, we've received permission now to go aboard. Once we go aboard, we'll get a list of items that we're going to check, and we're going to go over to the boat now, basically pull alongside it. I'm going to swing out this way a little bit, swing around. So basically, yeah, we're going to pull alongside her. Now, I'm going to be careful here. You can go far too fast with this thing. Just slow down a bit. Yeah, I've been a bit overzealous there. Right, let's turn around a bit. There we go. So we want to be in there, which we're lined up nicely for now, actually. Obviously, using the third-person camera helps. So there we go. Now we can see that we're coming in. Slow down a bit more. Okay, we're going backwards now. So, yeah, you just need to be quite gentle, especially when you're getting close like this. We'll just rudder her in a little bit. So there we go. We're just about ready to dock here. So we'll hold down the K key, and that certainly saves the catalogue of errors. So you can now press spacebar, and then you can click here to swap vessels, and that allows you to board the ship. We've then got a checklist of items. There's a checklist which basically comes up in the top right, and you can see at the top across the compass the waypoints are going crazy for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, basically we've got a list of inspection items. So check maps and rudders, check what's that, automatic identification system, and then check position lights. So we're going to do that by going up here basically, and we'll get ourselves into here. So we've got the AIS, which is fine. What else have we got? We've got this book here, which is correctly maintained. Let's head back down here a sec. And you'll notice as well, this is the tugboat. It's a similar layout to the one that we saw at the start. I've gone the long way around here, but anyway, we want this one. Positional lights are all good, so now we can talk to the captain. Yeah, fella, we'll just leave your doors open. But yeah, you're just telling him have a good journey. Couldn't find any issues, false alarm. So, you can go back down there, or you can just hit spacebar. Whoops. Let me do that again. Spacebar, and then you can go swap, and then go swap vessels, and basically that puts us back where we want to be. So let's get back behind the wheel, and we're going to hold down K to undock, and then we can tear off away from here. So we are looking for another boat now. Okay, there's a boat over there. Let's head over there. Alright, let's slow down a bit. We'll press. Let's see if we can do our binoculars on this one. Okay, another suspect. So yeah, let's make contact using the radial menu. So now we can dock. Let's see how we get out of this. There we go. Right, let's head over there. I'm going to swing round because you could just pull up. Doesn't matter which way you're facing, but I'm going to get alongside and be facing in the right direction just in case we need to take her into the harbour. So let's swing round. See, we're chopping our way. Wow, these waves are pretty serious. Wow, that was very serious. But then no problem at all for this police boat. Right, let's get a bit of slowdown going on. There we go, we're going backwards again. Don't mind, I need to move over a bit anyway. Right, let's get ready on our K key here. See if we can manage this. There we go. So, again, spacebar. We're going to swap to this boat. For this one, we're going to actually going down this one. So this door wouldn't open on our initial ship, but we've got a few things to check out down here. So I think we need to head down and down again here. So we are heading into the sort of under section of the ship and in here. Alright, so we'll check this one first. So, looks like this is the engine. Correctly maintained, and yeah, got a full layout of engine room down here, which is quite good. Kind of reminds me of GoldenEye for some reason. No exit that way for some reason. But you know the ship level on GoldenEye. I love that. Right, we've got logbooks. Correctly maintained, and then we've got something else over here. So this is the licenses. It doesn't meet the requirements. Okay, the colleagues will be waiting for the ship in the next harbour. So we need to talk to the captain. It looks like we're going to have to pull her in to take her into the harbour, I think. Let's get ourselves up here, have a quick word with him. We could have also come up this way, by the way. So there's another route up from the... I think we were coming up this way. We flew out through that door, but you can actually go up this way as well. Actually, I should show you. There's some of these rooms are quite nicely modelled. Yeah, different stuff. It's quite nice. Right, let's head up these steps then. So here he is. Yeah, we've had a look at the licenses. We need to take you in. And I thought you wouldn't catch me. Well, yeah, I apologise, my dude. We need to take you in. So here we go. So let's hop back to our own ship now. Like this. We caught the suspect. Good job. So we're now going to escort them back to the port. And basically, I'm going to keep this going. Alright, we need to be in our driving seat. So we need to stay close here. So basically we're going to undock. And then we've got a bar, like a green bar. Dude, we've got an eye on you, don't worry. We're keeping a very close eye on you. So we want him to basically be heading over there. And basically, yeah, we'll just keep a close watch on this captain, make sure he's actually going the way he needs to go. Wow, those waves behind he's leaving in his wake are quite massive. Look at that. Anyway guys, yeah, hope you're enjoying the video. If you are, hit the like button. I'd love to hear from you in the comment section. Tell me, what is your favourite ship simulation game? I don't really know that many myself. There is one other one that I've been playing quite a bit of recently that I'll be bringing to the channel. At least to take a look at it. And maybe we can do a bit of comparison. It's another one which is in early access. Let me know in the comment section if you can guess what it is. But yeah, that's how it looks without the hood as well. Quite nice, I think. Maybe get a nice little screenshot going here. Or maybe not. I don't think it wants me to, right? Yeah, we'll make sure we're staying pretty close to this person. So we need to get them right into harbour and not go too far ahead, although we are escorting them quite nicely here. So if I remember rightly from that opening mission, this tugboat's probably capable of about 11 knots, so they're not really going full speed, although they are, I guess, pretty close to where we need to come to a halt. Again, we could do it from this view. We've got the map as well, which is quite good. We are going in over there. I'm not entirely too sure where. Can't quite see, but I'm assuming that because we're almost there, we're going to see something happen here, like in terms of them park up or whatever. I don't think we need to park up as such just at the moment. Again, those waves there in the wake are, yeah, pretty cool actually. Not too much further to go anyway. I'm not entirely too sure what they're supposed to be doing here. Pulling alongside, I guess. Oh, there's a parking spot over there. Are we supposed to go over there? Where that blue thing is? Alright, they're in. You passed the test with flying colours. No real surprise though. Given your file, you've proven yourself. I can't control the throttle here now. I hope I can count on you in the future. If you want to take up your job office, the throttle's locked on. Continue. Great work, sailor. If you keep up that pace, you'll be a great addition to the team. If you're interested, reach out for help and we discuss the details. Ahoy. So yeah, we've done the tide guard tutorial, so that's that bit done. If you want to see more of this game, let me know, because we'll do the cargo ferry tutorial and then we'll choose which route we want to go, potentially, depending on. If you guys want to see more, let me know in the comment section. Hit me up with a like if you enjoyed the video. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'd love it if you'd go ahead and do that. And yeah, hit the notification bell if you want to be notified of upcoming videos. My overall impressions of this game, that it could have some great gameplay. It's kind of lacking at the moment. It's good, but it's not great. And I can understand the mixed reviews on Steam. I can understand how a lot of people would be disappointed. I can understand how a lot of people would get a refund for this game. But yeah, let me know, guys, if you've played it and what you think of it. I'd love to hear from you. Alright then. What I will say is please do take care of yourselves. And I'll catch you guys again soon.